Are you struggling with a nasty slice, whether that be the ball starting left and going way right, or a golf ball that starts right and goes right? If you're struggling to hit a slice, it's not that hard to correct it if you understand what leaves the club face open. Oh yeah, it's club face, by the way, that controls why the ball slices. Club path is important, whether you're swinging over the top, in, out, that's important. But the main reason why you slice the golf ball is because your club face is wide open. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to fix the club face, to stop the club face from being so far open. This is gonna help you start hitting the ball a lot straighter with a lot less left to right curve. It might even make you start pulling the golf ball, which in that case, if you start pulling the golf ball, will start moving your path more in to out, so that your golf balls will start more down the line with either a baby fade, maybe even a slight draw. We're gonna work mainly today on correcting the club face and not have it be so far open. Before we dive too far into this video, I want you to get access to my free Pure Strike Masterclass. There's some videos in there that are gonna walk you through what you need to know to create a pure strike. We're gonna talk about face control, the different positions your face needs to be in. We're gonna talk about how to properly release the golf club. And then we're gonna talk about how to create more consistent contact. You put all those together, plus what you learned today, and you're gonna create a ball striking machine of a golf swing. That link is in the description below. It's completely free. I want to offer that to you because I love what I do and I just want to help you improve your golf games. That link's in the description down below. Let's get into the video. First, let's talk about the grip. Grip is one of the first things I see that's one of the leading indicators on why they're slicing the golf ball. We need to get your hands in the proper position. But what I want to do is I want to explain the grip, help you understand why we put the hands there. If you take your lead hand and the more you put it on top, the more the face is going to want to close. So if I relax my arm, it wants to come back to there and be closed. Vice versa, the more I put it to the left, rotate it towards the target and under, if I relax my hands, the more the face wants to be open. And see, like that's as far as I can close it, versus if I put it on top and to the right, I can really close it. Getting that left hand on top of the club makes a big difference. Now let's talk about how. We're going to want to take the club and put it a little bit more in the fingers. And here's the key. Here's the fat part of your hand. You want the grip underneath the fat part of the hand right here, right across like so. So that way the butt of the club is pointing underneath the wrist. If you have it going up your wrist like this, no bueno, we don't want that. We want it going down just like this. What that means is it's going more across the fingers and down. Then when you look on top of the club, you should see two knuckles when you look down, and this little V in your hand should be pointing towards your trail shoulder. If it's pointing in the middle of your body or even pointing at your left shoulder, you know you have an extremely weak grip. It's not going to give you the ability to square the club face up. Again, get it across the fingers, get that fat part of your hand right here on top of the line of the club. Look down and you should be able to see two knuckles really clearly. Now let's talk about the trail hand. The trail hand, the more it goes on top, the less room I have to close the club face like so. The more it's underneath, the more I can roll it. See how I can really roll it if I get that hand underneath? Versus if it's on top, I don't really have any room to rotate the face. The more your right hand goes underneath, the easier it is to close the club face. The more it goes on top, the harder it is. Now listen, there's not necessarily a right and wrong grip. It depends on what you need the club face to do through impact. What I'm teaching you right now is more of a neutral grip. If you need to make it a little stronger, you can, but here's one tip. Do not make the grip stronger and stronger and stronger to correct the slice. You will eventually run into issues the more towards the trail shoulder, the more you tuck it under, you'll start to run into issues in the golf swing because that grip gets too extreme. If you need to close the club face more, don't go more than this, maybe a little bit, but don't go extreme because that extreme will cause issues. If you're still slicing the ball after this first change, then we're gonna go on to the next change, which is the takeaway. The takeaway, I see a lot of issues with players opening the face really early in the backswing. If you open the face really early in the backswing, it's going to be difficult to come down and square it. It'll even make the timing harder because even if you are coming back and squaring it up, you're having to roll that face really hard. Here's what most golfers do that open the club face. Their very first move is they fan the face open and the face points to the sky. Now, let's back up. What is square? If I hold the club up here in front of me, and you look at my spine and you look at the leading edge of the club, we would agree right now that's square. No matter how I turn, that's square. As long as that line, the leading edge on the club, is matching my spine, that is square. What's square in the takeaway? If this is square right here, I turn and then I lean over, I want you to notice this club face is at an angle, still matching my spine. Toes not straight up in the air, and toes not, and the face isn't pointing in the sky. It's matching my spine at an angle. So your club face should actually be slightly angled down and not toe straight up and down. When I was taught as a kid, I was taught toe straight up and down. We've come to learn that's actually a little bit open. There's a lot of good players that have done that, so it's not terrible, but if you're a slicer of the golf ball, I want that angle of the club face on the takeaway matching your spine, slightly facing the ground. Here's some hows on how to do that. Go ahead and get in your setup, and then when you do your takeaway, the key is to keep the chest turning, because if you're not turning the chest, then you're going to break the arms, and most time people flare the club face open. So what I want you to do is take the club, put it on your chest as a drill to kind of get your brain in the right place, and keep the arms fairly straight and do your takeaway a few times. And what you're going to notice as you do this, the face is facing down already. If I set up like so, put it on my chest, and I just turn my chest, you're going to see the face is already angled down. That's the position your face should be on the takeaway. How do we replicate that when we grip it normally? Well, you got to move your chest a lot at the beginning and not break your arms. So as you take the club back, turn your chest a lot, keep those arms straight longer like so. Let me change the angle here. See, I didn't break this elbow really early. Most golfers don't turn the chest. They break the arm, break the elbow, they roll the wrist, and the face gets wide open on the takeaway. Here we go again. Turn the chest a lot, keep those arms straighter longer, and feel like the face is pointing down at the ball on the first 2 to 3 feet of the takeaway. That'll stop you from flaring it wide open in the backswing, and that'll give you a second resource to keeping that club face square to not cause a slice. Finally, let's talk about the top of the backswing. At the top of the backswing, I see a lot of my clients get really bad wrist angles on their lead wrist. Wrist angles are key to controlling the club face from the top of the downswing to impact. If you get those wrong, you're going to put yourself in a horrible position to square the club face up. What are wrist angles? If you take your lead wrist, and this is the main wrist we're talking about, and we're going to look at the flexion down and extension of the lead wrist. Flexion actually closes the club face. So if I grip the club and I go into flexion, you can see this face rolling shut. That's flexion. If I go into extension like this, it actually opens the club face. If at the top of the swing, you're in a lot of extension, you can see this little angle in my wrist right here, then you're actually opening the club face at the top. Now here's another little bonus tip. If you're in extension at the top and you pull down, that's one of the main reasons why you come over the top, and a huge reason why you slice the golf ball. Because good players do not pull down in extension. Good players go into being flat or they move into flexion. Both of those things shallow the golf club behind us and give us the ability to swing more in to out. So if you're in an excessive amount of extension at the top, that's causing your over the top, that's causing your face to be open, and that combo will create a left to right movement of the ball that you will never get rid of unless you do something crazy with the hands through the impact zone to square it up, which creates timing. And the more timing you have in your golf swing, the harder it is to be consistent. What you need to do is at the very top of the swing, you need to work on getting that wrist flat. It doesn't have to be in full flexion like you see John Rahm or Justin Johnson. Those are extreme cases. Go ahead and try it. You'll start to notice if you get into flexion at the top and then you come down in flexion, you'll notice you close that club face a lot. But the answer is not to continue to go more and more into flexion to correct ball flight. I would say at the most, for most golfers, don't go any more than flat, maybe slightly bowed, slightly. You don't need to go into a full wrist lock flexion position. And then when you start hitting a few shots where that wrist is dead flat, you'll notice you start to produce more of a right to left curvature of the golf ball, especially if you have the new grip, the takeaway, and the flexion. In my opinion, I don't think there's going to be any way you still hit a slice unless you hit the ball way off the heel and then you try to save it by holding the face open. I do see that, but I don't think that's gonna happen for you. It doesn't happen a lot, but I do see it. The best way to get the wrist flat at the top of the swing and get out of the extension is to use a debit card or some kind of card you can put underneath your glove on your wrist. So I'm gonna pull this off. I'm actually gonna take my watch off too. And then take the card, slide it in your glove. Go ahead and get your glove pretty tight as you can get it. Let that card stick out a little ways like this, and you're gonna notice if you're in extension, you're gonna bend the card and you're gonna feel it pressing in. If your wrist is flat, you won't feel it, and if you're in flexion, you'll start to see it come off your wrist. It's a really good drill and indicator on if you're getting your wrist in a good position. Then you can start hitting some shots where at the top of the swing, that card is not pressing into your arm. Now, it's okay if at address, you're bending the card at address. That's not what the card's for, is at address. It's for the top of the backswing. Go ahead and take a few swings where you feel like that card is not pressing on, just like that, and then hit. Now, a little super tip here. If you're over swinging, then you're gonna probably go into a lot of extension. So this should shorten your backswing if you're going past parallel, or if you're taking the arms further back than you can physically rotate. This will probably shorten your swing, which is a good thing. The wrist should stop right there and not go anymore, because what people do at the top of their swing when they overswing is they get here, and then to make a longer swing, they go into extension and open the face wide open, which creates over the top and an open club face. Hit a few shots where you take it to the top, flat wrist, swing through, and you'll notice a dramatic difference in your ball flight. If you put all three of those tips together, grip, takeaway, wrist angle at the top, you put all three of those together, your slice will improve dramatically. If it doesn't get rid of it all, which I think it will, you might even start drawing the golf ball once you get through this. It's gonna significantly help get rid of that slice. If you like this video, leave me a comment down below with what you thought about it. And don't forget to grab the Pure Strike Masterclass. The link's in the description below. It's really gonna take what we talk about here, take it to the next level, give you some more info on how to create a pure strike every single time. It's really gonna help. Check that out. Besides that, see you next time. Peace.